Howdy, my name is Chris Cherry, and I am the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Academic Affairs in the College of Education and Human Development here at Texas A&M University. And my role with New Student Conferences is to sort of kick off the show on day one. I'm sorry, day two. Day two? Day
Two.
two. Day two.
And my name's Allison Rivera. I'm Executive Director of Academic Advising and Student Success in the College of Arts and Sciences at A&M. And I've been here for, I think, 13 years now. So I have been both an academic advisor for day two, welcoming new families and students. And in my current role, I oversee about 40 advisors who have that pleasure. And we help organize day two as well. So you might see me at the Dean's meeting day two.
Hi, I'm Jackie Canope. I've had 3 different roles at NSC. In 1991, I came as a student. And then now I am a professor over in the College of Business. And oftentimes on day 2, I'll go speak in one of the accounting department meetings. And then recently, I have been able to be a parent at New Student Conference. I have a daughter class of 2020 and a daughter class of 2024. And this year was especially fun because I got to serve at New Student Conference as Parent of the Year.
Hi, I'm Kennedy Lynch. I am a student employee, class of 25. I get to help answer any questions, emails, or phone calls that you may have on your NSC days.
Jackie, you said when you came here in the summer of 1991 for your conference, I came here in the summer of 1992 for my New Student Conference. It is such a different experience now. I remember very little about my New Student Conference except for
See, I remember all of it.
some ominous dude coming up on the stage and saying, "Look to your left, look to your right. One of you will not be here at the end of the
I
semester,"
remember this.
right?
I remember
It's
this.
such a different
Yes.
experience. It's such a different university now. Like, it's not a look to your left, look to your right
I agree.
situation. It's you did all the things you were supposed to do to get here, and now you're here, and our job is to help you be successful.
100%. I
Is that
agree.
your experience too?
100%. Very, very much so. I do remember that exact same speech. I guess I was probably more scared because I swear I thought it was more of like 3 of the 4 of you won't be here. I swear I thought that was it. But 100%. New Student Conference was also longer. I don't know if you remember that. It was 4 to 5 days long. I remember we had mixers at night, which was kind of crazy to think about now. And I think I probably left New Student Conference knowing less, though, than what the kids nowadays know when they leave.
So to that point, Allison, what does the second day of the New Student Conference typically look like now?
Sure. So students start off, them and their families, from what I know, at least in my college, students and families meet first thing in the morning. I think it's at 8:30 for a dean's overview and welcome. That can look different from college to college. In mine, it's pretty short. We have about a 15-minute presentation, and we also recommend not being late to that because you'll miss some important information and connections. And then from there, we split our students because we have about, I think, 18 departments. So we split our students up by department and send them off to their departmental building to meet their department advisors. And then they spend the rest of their day with the advisors. And there's a variety across campus for sure in terms of families being involved in the day 2 activities. In mine, in most cases, students' family members are allowed at the beginning sort of morning portions, but not at registration. We want the students to try registration themselves, but I know that looks different from college to college.
So in your college, what do the families do?
Yeah.
What's their engagement throughout the day?
Yeah, so in the morning they'll be with their student, and then after lunch we have a families and guardians presentation. And that's where our deans talk about different topics, basically to help our parents be partners in helping remind their students about key deadlines or important topics. So that way they're kind of in the know about those issues. So we really present things like future holds that might happen and when they happen, and the importance of academic advising and to come in early and don't wait until the day before registration sort of thing. So that way they can help remind their student, hey, it is, March. Have you met with your advisor yet? And so we try to give them pertinent information that will be helpful to them specifically. And then we have some guest stars in our college who talk about their different programs. So our Aggie Teach program, our study abroad in our college, we have an embedded counselor who will speak. And I know I'm missing some people from that. Career Center will speak for a little bit or will provide slides and information. And then we provide time for questions, which has typically been like a flood of people coming to each
Right.
of us in our little stations to ask specific questions that they're concerned about.
So, Jackie, as a parent, what was your
Mm.
experience in your most recent new student conference that you went to?
I felt it went pretty seamless. We kind of did the same thing where we met with all of the College of Education, and then we heard from the dean. So hi, Chris again. This time I get to sit across from you instead of sitting in some seats from you. And then they broke us up into different majors, if you will. So all the kinesiology majors were together. And they did a great job just kind of talking us through what was going to happen with registration. So we had an idea. They explained to the parents what to expect, and then they let us go. We, I think, must have been one of the first groups out because we got to go eat with someone else. It was nice. And so we were able to do that. They told us what time to meet back at for Maddie and kinesiology. We met on West Campus. They told us exactly what time to meet. We got there, and the parents had a separate little topic Q&A kind of thing that we went to while the kids went and did the registration. It was actually really pretty quick, really seamless.
Kennedy, you've been on the inside with all the secret happenings within the student side of things. What was your experience as a new student conference attendee?
Yeah, so mine was kind of similar to what Jackie was saying. We went in the morning and had a dean's meeting where my parents were able to come with me. And then after that, we were split into our majors, as you said. That one was pretty quick as well. And then we broke off to lunch. At lunch, I actually got on my computer and kind of started looking through classes and some things that I would want to put in my shopping cart, as they say, to register for classes. Whenever it was time to go into our meeting, just with our advisors and start registering, my parents weren't allowed to come with me. I'm in the College of Ag. So they kind of split off and went and did their own thing around College Station, around campus, whatever they like. And then I met with other students and then talked with my advisors and started registering for classes.
So, what would, just open to anybody, what would you recommend parents be able to do, families be able to do while their students are engaged in the new student conference stuff where they're behind closed doors?
I would say there's plenty of things you can kind of do on campus. Just walk around if you want. There's plenty of shopping if you want to go shopping. Century Square is not very far from campus. It's just down on University. I kind of like that idea because you're not too far from campus. Our registration went really, really quick. When we were in the little Q&A, kids were showing up telling parents, hey, we're done after about 10 minutes. So I guess that probably depends on where you are and what your major is in the university. But ours was really, really quick. And so I don't know that I would go too far away. I don't know that I'd head into Bryan. Depending upon your major, I know that one of my friends, because there were only a few kids there in their major, they actually had almost everything done before they even went to lunch. And they just, they met one-on-one with their advisors and almost didn't even have to come back. Like, it was very much a formality afterwards. So I would probably ask at the dean's meeting or right after the dean's meeting, the advisors that are there, maybe how long they anticipate it's going to take before you go too far away. Because for me, I would have probably gotten called back to her before I even got to my house.
So,
I have a recommendation of
please.
something not to do.
Mhm.
Don't encourage your student to text you the whole time during registration.
Live in the moment. Be in the moment.
Be in the moment, right? So if your student is texting you during registration with panic, make sure they know that they should raise their hand or talk to their advisor, and don't be scared to ask questions. We have very capable professional advisors that are there for that reason, and don't be afraid. And so if you get a text from your student in panic, say, raise your hand, go talk to your advisor, they'll help you.
I would agree with that. I remember when my oldest daughter was registering for New Student Conference. She came in during COVID, so unfortunately, New Student Conference was all online and at home. And she's at the Business Honors Program over at Mays. And so they were doing a group registration where the advisor had, I don't know, maybe 12 of them all online at one time. And he had told them, if when we go to press these buttons, any red one shows up, you can panic for about 3 seconds and then we're going to fix it. And Sydney pressed her button, everything came up fine. And I was in the living room and I could just hear someone raise their hand and go, Mr. Jeff, Mr. Jeff, Mr. Jeff. I have 6 red things that popped up. And he was like, it's okay. And within minutes, she was fully taken care of. So the advisors really know what they're doing. You just have to trust them.
Yes, I have to agree with that. Whenever I did mine, I didn't know to check, like the requirements, and this class was in McAllen, not at A&M. So I panicked because all of mine came up red like that as well. And then an advisor came straight over to me and helped me get into all the right classes, and everything went fine.
So besides showing up and being present and not panicking and talking to your advisor, what are some things that you would recommend folks do before they come to the New Student Conference so that it's a successful, it's a smooth experience?
Sure. I would say to get ready, get your test scores, your academic history ready, your AP scores. If you had dual credit coursework, to grab that transcript and bring it with you. I would say not to get too invested in planning your schedule, because I don't want you to be disappointed when you are told, oh, you need to take these courses, or if they're not available, or if they're restricted in some way. So don't overplan, but bring the things that you need. Make sure your holds are taken care of, which you can see in Howdy. And then be ready to enjoy the day. Get acquainted with the campus map maybe, or something like that, instead of planning out your whole schedule, because that's what we're here for in the New Student Conferences, is to help you prepare for that. And so just be ready to receive.
I think from the parent perspective, I think probably one of the biggest things you have to do is be prepared to understand you're letting them go. I think parents struggle when they go off into registration on their own, and understand that that's kind of why you raise them, so that they could grow off and be adults on their own. I actually asked my youngest daughter this last night. It's like, what do you kind of wish you would have known before you came on day 2? Her probably biggest piece of advice was she wished that everybody kind of had just played with the schedule builder a little bit, just so that you can kind of be prepared with it. She liked the idea of having multiple alternative schedules potentially ready. You're right, you can't lock yourself into one because you don't know what's going to be available. You don't know what's not going to be available. But she kind of had looked through the schedule going, okay, I know I may not get this one class. I may get this class instead. But the big thing, she says, she just felt great knowing that she kind of already understood how that schedule builder worked. So during lunch, she was pretty calm versus some people who were very, very, very nervous about it. In fact, at lunch, we actually ended up with a lot of kids from either her school or her major and then College of Business at our lunch table, and we were helping everybody with their schedules and being able to identify what was closed and what was not. And so she said just playing around with it. I mean, you don't push any major buttons. Well, you're not even allowed to. But just being able to see little things like how you add the classes and how you see what classes are full, just so that you are prepared for what's going to happen.
Yeah, I did exactly that at lunchtime. I kind of printed off my degree plan and then kind of wrote out to the side what are some alternative classes, especially if you have sciences, where you have a wide variety of classes to choose from, so that I kind of knew and was prepared for whenever the time came and I needed an extra class.
Oh, and I would also say that if you're not at the first New Student Conference, I know some of us are very type A and want to do this the second that our kid gets the acceptance letter. But if you're not going to be at the New Student Conference, you may want to hold off and not really take too much of a look at like availability and such in classes, because as the New Student Conferences go, those classes are going to get taken up. And then also, at least I know over at the Mays Business School, we also then open up more spots. And so you'll save yourself a lot of panic if you will just wait until maybe even day one before you're even starting to look at, okay, what times are open, what times are closed, because you really don't know if what you see is really reflecting what's going to be there on day two.
Yeah, since 1876, students have been getting schedules and showing up to the first day of class, right? Pretty successfully. So another thing about this is that the experience is kind of a huge experience. Campus is geographically huge, it's bureaucratically huge, it's psychologically huge. What are some ways that you can think of to recommend to students to make it smaller, maybe to make connections with other people?
One of the things that I like about new student conferences is your focus should be on learning and making connections during that time. And I'm going to say that for family members and for students as well. So we're very purposeful in splitting up students into their majors, not just because it makes advising and registration a lot easier, but we also want you to meet other students in your major, and hopefully like schedule classes together, one or two classes so you get to build that connection during the whole time. So that will make your campus small if you have that experience. And we also will do our Hullabaloo U courses in our college by department as well. So there's a good chance that whoever you're registering with that day and meeting for the whole day two, you're going to see again in the future. So, exchange phone numbers. Do they do that now? Like social media, exchange Instagram, I don't know, whatever it is. Get to build those connections during that time and make sure that you have some friendly faces, because I can guarantee you the nervous question that you're too afraid to ask, like everybody in your row has the same question, so you can help each other out and make your world a lot smaller.
Yeah, I had that exact experience, actually. I was out in the hallway waiting to go into the lab, and a guy came and talked to me. We ended up exchanging phone numbers. We sat together whenever we registered for classes, and then we realized we had like 2 or 3 classes together. We actually kept having classes together throughout the semesters, and I'm still friends with him to this day. So I highly recommend kind of getting out of your comfort zone and just speaking to someone, because even a simple question of like, hey, when are the doors open to go in, will get you like a new friend and a classmate, something like that.
One of the things that I emphasize in the presentation is that this whole effort, team sport, right? It is about those connections. No student is doing it by themselves. So we encourage them to get to know their academic advisor and really lean into that resource, and to get to know the students that are sitting to their left and to their right that are going to be there at the end of the semester, right? So in a lot of ways, it is a team sport. Everybody participates. Everybody's part of a community, and that's how it works. All right. So there is a lot of information that is flying around on the first day, prior to the first day, on the second day. What information should students and their families be looking out for on that second day, and how should they be looking for it to come in?
Absolutely. Day one is a flood of information, and I know at the end of day one, they will put a slide up that says where your day two meeting will be, depending on your college. So make sure first that you understand what college you're in. I believe your admit letter should tell you, so you want to make sure you know that, because that will be the first important bit. The second bit is that your college will likely be sending you anywhere between 4 to 16 emails before the new student conference. We in the College of Arts and Sciences send it to both your @TAMU email address and then your address that you applied with, to make sure that you get it. But you really want to make sure that you're checking your @TAMU account for the weeks beforehand. So you'll get an email. Families, make sure to ask your student, because it will only go to the student, for that email that describes, what time day two will start and where it will start. One thing you want to probably look at in advance is where to park, because it very well might be different from the place you parked at in day one. For us in Arts and Sciences, it's pretty simple, because we start our day in Rudder Theater most days. So it will be very similar to day one, but that's not the case for most of the colleges. So you want to have an idea of where to park. Give yourself lots of time, because College Station feels really small, and it might be small if you're coming from Houston or Dallas, but it can be kind of crazy sometimes getting around in the morning. So plan on where to park. And then you'll want to be there bright and early, ready. Make sure that you are also checking, like, you're going to start and end your day in different places likely as well. So the beginning part is going to be the dean's meeting. and it's likely going to be in one big room because it's everyone in the college. Whereas afterwards, you're going to be split into different departments and go to department homes so you can meet your faculty and meet staff members. You can meet your academic advisors and other students. So you're going to be in a different building. So be prepared to walk a little bit. You want to make sure you wear shoes that are comfortable to walk. Check the weather. You might need an umbrella as well. Hopefully you won't. Fingers crossed. But you'll want to know where you're supposed to go after lunch as well. So pay attention to all of the details about lunch and then where to go after lunch. It might be the same place you were at like 10 o'clock. But make sure you write it down because during lunch, you're going to forget, like you're going to be doing a little bit of research and thinking. So write it down, bring a pen and paper with you so you know where to go. And then also tell your parents where you're going to be so you can meet up after registration and find each other. So that's my best advice.